So California just got slapped down by an appeals court requiring a law for background checks for buying ammunition. And they marked it as unconstitutional, the appeals court. We're going to read a article here in a moment describing that. I'm a little conflicted about this law. I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about it, but from my general take is okay, yeah, but or does that mean you have to go through a comprehensive background check, and you have to pay for this background check anytime you want to pick up some ammo? Or does the state pay for it? Is there some better system we could implement here, like a background check every X amount of time? Stuff like that. And of course, that'd be completely different from your background checks for purchasing a firearm itself. I can understand to some degree of putting some kind of light restriction on ammo, but again, I don't know, man. My general take on guns is this. And if you don't want to hear my general take, then you can just use the timestamps below to go straight to the article. But my general take is yeah, we should have the basics like background checks on actually purchasing firearms, red flag laws, and maybe down the line have some sort of a voluntary gun buyback program, sure. But overall, I have a different take on gun control. And that is that any form of gun control in this climate is just political suicide. Because as it stands right now, there's more guns than people. And you could ban the official sale of all firearms tomorrow and see a negligible effect, especially in the short to midterm. Yeah, maybe in 30 years, you'll benefit from it. But the idea of gun control is to reduce gun violence and, making sure bad people don't get weapons and yada yada. But right now, I think there are just more systemic root issues that we should be addressing that are kind of unique to the crime situation that we see in the United States. I think a lot of it is related to poverty, and a lot of that is relating to drug use. And no, I am someone who says that all drugs should be decriminalized and regulated, but that's a conversation for another day. But you need treatment centers and stuff like that. So you want to, before you just say, all right, we're going to take guns or we're going to crack down on guns, I think you need to address people's living situations first. And we need the very basics in that regard. We need to catch up to the rest of the world. We need to have universal health care. We need to have a living minimum wage. We need to have a free higher public education. We need better public transport and just better infrastructure as a whole. Things that basically make sure that every single person, no matter what their income level is, has the basic tools to succeed in this system. Okay? And I take this same mindset to addressing things like racism, homophobia, transphobia, and even hatred towards immigrants, because this would eliminate so many issues that Americans face by just having your very basics taken care of. It's going to result in people just being there won't be so much fucking anger going around and the need to fucking scapegoat someone. And I think that would all largely dissipate because the basics would be taken care of, and a lot of that would just kind of go away. And then at that point, once you have the very basic social safety nets established, then you can go and start moving into specifically address gun control or specifically address racism or whatever, once that is all taken care of. But right now, it's you're not cutting the head off the snake. Whatever you do, whatever you try to do, if you're not addressing the systemic root issue, it's nothing. It's not going to do anything. All right. Anyways, we have an article here from the AP. Appeals court says California law requiring background checks for ammunition is unconstitutional. A voter-backed California law requiring background checks for people who buy bullets is unconstitutional. A federal appeals court ruled Thursday in a blow to the state's efforts to combat gun violence. Again, if you want to combat gun violence, go look at my speech I just gave, okay? That's how you address it. The rest can come later. In upholding a 2024 ruling by a lower court, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals found that the law violates the Second Amendment. Voters passed the law in 2016 and it took effect in 2019. And, it's funny that they say this is unconstitutional and this violates the Second Amendment. It's this is how does this violate the Second Amendment, but like the fucking Trump just signing an EO on banning birthright citizenship isn't? Now, in all fairness, a court ruled, and I think, I want to say it was actually this same circuit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is also the Court of Appeals that we just covered that put like another block on Trump being able to carry out that executive order. But anyways, like just in general, how we view things, like how a lot of people on the right will look at like the 14th Amendment and be like, bro, it clearly says right there slavery. It's like, no, it doesn't. It says all people in the jurisdiction of the U.S. And they'll be like, no, 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 no. You see, a Mexican citizen here illegally is actually still under Mexico's jurisdiction. It's like, okay, so then we can't touch them. We better call the Mexican authorities down in Mexico to come up to fucking Idaho and arrest this fucking dude. Like, what are you talking about? But like when it comes to the Second Amendment, which I think is a lot more up to interpretation than any other amendment for that matter, it's, yeah, whatever. Yeah, like, okay. Anyways, I digress. Many states, including California, make people pass a background check before they can buy a gun. California went a step further by requiring a background check, which costs either $1 or $19, depending on eligibility, every time someone buys bullets. Yeah, every time. See, that's, I think, unnecessary. If you want to do a thing like once every fucking 6 months or a year, obviously it'd be different for purchasing a firearm, but for bullets, come on, man. And this should be, if it's only $1 to $19, it should just be financed by the state. I'm sorry. Last year, U.S. District Judge Roger Benitez decided that the law was unconstitutional because if people can't buy bullets, they can't use their guns for self-defense. Like, how? The Second Amendment doesn't even say anything about self-defense. Okay. The Ninth Circuit agreed, writing for two of the three judges on the appellate panel. Judge Sandra Siegel Akuta said the law meaningfully constrains the constitutional right to keep arms by forcing gun owners to get rechecked before each purchase of bullets. The right to keep and bear arms incorporates the right to operate them, which requires ammunition, the judge wrote. This is so weird. And then how come then just like normal background checks aren't unconstitutional? Like, again, I'm not really a fan of this law to begin with. But like at the same time, I don't think this is like a proper way, like a proper argument against it. I don't think the argument should be constitutionality. The argument should be like fucking stupidity. Like, you're gonna require a background check every time I buy bullets. How about like once a year? All right, you can do as many background checks every time I buy a firearm, but like bullets, how about once a year? All right, and you pay for it. But anyways. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, who supported the background checks, decried the court's decision. Strong gun laws save lives, and today's decision is a slap in the face to the progress California has made in recent years to keep its community safer from gun violence. Newsom said in a statement, California has voted to require background checks on ammunition, and their voices should matter. This part I fully agree with. Like, if it's a direct to ballot measure, then, like, okay, that changes, like, that makes it a little more okay because this is what people voted for directly, like direct policy. The California Department of Justice said that the state needs common sense life-saving laws that prevent ammunition from falling into the wrong hands. We are deeply disappointed in today's ruling, a critical and life-saving measure that closes a dangerous loophole. The department said in a statement, our families, schools, and neighborhoods deserve nothing less than the most basic protection against preventable gun violence, and we are looking into our legal options. Chuck, Michelle, Michael, whatever, President and General Counsel of the California Rifle and Pistol Association, called the law absurdly restrictive. The case has been a long, hard fight against overreaching government gun control, but a firearm cannot be effective without the ammunition to make it operable. The state of California continues to strip our rights, and we continue to prove their actions are unconstitutional. Oh my God, dude, these people are probably completely fucking silent when the First Amendment's being assaulted, the Fifth Amendment's being assaulted, the 14th Amendment's being assaulted. These people are just fucking completely silent. I hate it. I hate this double standards thing. I hate it so much. And again, I don't really agree with this law. But Jesus Christ, I hate the people coming out and being like, yeah, dude, government overreach. It's like, Donald Trump just like shut down all fucking federal education funding to California because of one high school trans student. One. Oh my God. And then of course you have fucking requiring ID anytime you want to watch porn, or fucking abortion bans. Like, shut the fuck up about government overreach. The law remained in effect while the state appealed the lower court's decision. Benitez had criticized the state's automated background check system, which he said rejected about 11% of applicants or 58,000 requests in the first half of 2023. So it's working as intended. Like, what do you want? You want a background check system that rejects 0% of applicants? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck? Like, your background check system, it's a bit over the top because it fucking 11% applicants were rejected, bro. Everyone should be able to pass it. Every single person, 0% rejection rate. California's law was meant to help police find people who have guns illegally, such as convicted felons, people with certain mental illnesses, and people with some domestic violence convictions. Sometimes they order kits online and assemble their guns at home. The guns don't have serial numbers and are difficult for law enforcement to track, but the people who own them show up in background checks when they try to buy bullets. That is a good point that I was thinking about. It's like, yeah, it's like people can make like fucking 3D guns and unserialized guns at home now. Like, at least this was like another method in your defense for catching people who shouldn't be having this stuff, for keeping them from getting it. John Parkin, president of Coyote Point Armory in Burlingame, California, said that the law made it difficult or impossible for some legal gun owners to purchase ammunition. For example, out-of-state residents and California residents with old guns couldn't buy bullets because they weren't in the database of approved gun owners, he said. It was written to make California gun owners angry. There wasn't a lot of logic to it, Parkin said about the law. I think there are better ways to keep the public safe. Why does it sound like there was probably a system in place where they could have just like taken their super old guns and just got them like registered or approved? And they're just blatantly ignoring that. This was pure speculation on my part, but I just want to throw that out there. California has some of the nation's toughest gun laws. Many of them are being challenged in court in light of a U.S. Supreme Court decision that set a new standard for interpreting gun laws. The decision said gun laws must be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. 2 other California gun laws were struck down in recent years, one that banned detachable magazines that can hold more than 10 bullets and another that banned the sale of assault-style weapons. Those decisions have been appealed. Other laws being challenged include rules requiring gun stores to have digital surveillance systems and restrictions on the sale of new handguns. I think digital surveillance is a pretty reasonable thing, don't you think? I think that's kind of common sense. I mean, there's already like surveillance everywhere else you go, so why not just make sure it's actually there for a gun store? Like, I think that's reasonable. Okay, but anyways, you know my thoughts on overall gun control. Before you start to go like heavy on the gun control, aside from the basics like basic background checks and red flag laws, you need to really clamp down on the systemic root and causes of crime in this country that result to gun violence, and that is addressing like the historic fucking crises we have going on in this country right now. Healthcare, fucking wages and education costs, infrastructure fucking sucks. Like, if we can address all that and crime and we're still having a gun violence problem, all right, then we can put some more focus on that. That's just my thoughts. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.